Hey gamers, I am Cybersnack7. Yeah, it's been a while. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're old school, welcome back. It's 2025. Let's start with a bit of this. Hey gamers, I am Cybersnack7. Hope we're all well. Back again with my first video of 2025, and I couldn't have kicked it off better because I really wanted to do this series for a good couple of years now. Just never got round to it, and this is of course Man versus Neo Geo. Now, if you've followed me for a good few years, I've been around a bit. I did do Man versus Master System, and that was obviously to collect the full set of the Sega Master System games, which I thankfully accomplished. But now, many years later, I've decided to move it up a notch and go for a full Neo Geo CD set. Now, this ain't going to be, I don't think, the hardest collection to get by any means. There's going to be a few heavy hitters in there, which thankfully I've got a couple, but there are a couple I'll probably have to pick up. But me collecting over the last couple of years, I've got a good substantial amount of games, but I've seen the prices, of course, as they do with most systems, go up. So it's become harder and harder for me to get the game. Not harder and harder, it's just become, I've had to take my time a little bit more because the prices have fluctuated. So I've just had to take my time and pick the right moment to buy the right game. And as you'll see, my collection will change because I did start with a certain priority, but over time, you'll see what happens. And I'll explain that as we go through the collection. But yes, that's going to be the first half of the video. There is going to be a second half. There's always going to be two halves to this Man versus Neo Geo. Firstly, the CD, Neo Geo CD collection, which I'm going to go through and try and get the full set for that. And then secondly, the second half is going to be all about anything and everything to do with Neo Geo. So it's anything I've picked up, anything I've wanted for the collection. It could be something from my room, could be books, could be vinyls, could be figures. It could be new AES games. It could be a collection that I've got and I want to show you. A collection I want to finish. A collection I want to start. It could be anything to do with Neo Geo, which I really wanted to add into this rather than just keep it as a full set collection. Because obviously I'm only going to show 5 games each episode, which then gives me the opportunity to give you a second half and give you something to look at and something to look forward to each month. And you're never going to know what you're going to get. It could be anything to do with Neo Geo. So if you love your Neo Geo, you're interested in Neo Geo, just like I am, of course, then hopefully you will follow me through the year and hopefully further on into probably next year and keep this series going, basically. So, without further ado, let's just talk a little bit about the Neo Geo, where I come about it, how I decided to collect for it, and you got to go back a good 1991. And it was my cousin that first literally picked up a Neo Geo AES. And it was back in the day when he just looked in the paper and you had the adverts and he found one, picked it up, and he picked up realistically a very rare nowadays Neo Geo. He picked up an English variant, which I've never come across one since he had one, and he bought an English variant of that console. And with that, he went and gone and bought probably one of my third favourite franchises in fighting game history, which is The Art of Fighting. And boy, I was impressed. I absolutely loved it because at first, we very first played that game in Birmingham many moons ago when we used to go straight from work up to an arcade place called Dave Hill's. and it was like you had your top with all your fruit machines, and you go underground, obviously down the stairs, dark and dingy, typical early 90s, late 80s arcade, absolutely fantastic. And there it was, the art of fighting, and we absolutely loved playing it. But obviously moving on, he picked up the console and we absolutely had a blast. And ever since I played that game, I always wanted a Neo Geo. Now, I never got one until 2003. This is my actual system. The boxed, I have got it boxed and it's absolutely pristine. I've kept this as original as possible. I've never modded it. I've never put anything in it. It is what it is. I might get it recapped eventually because, as I say, I've had this a very long time now. But it is running, touch wood, it's running absolutely perfect. So very happy to have this. Love my Neo Geo AES console. It's not a thing for everybody, of course, because it's a very expensive console concerning the games, of course. There are bargains out there. The games are nowhere near as cheap as they used to be, because I've picked up a few games over the years, not masses of amounts. I've just like cherry picked as I've gone through the years, but I've managed to pick up some decent classic Neo Geo games. Not everything. Your Metal Slugs and things like that, it's just a no-go. I'm not going into four figures concerning games. There's no chance I'm going to do that. But you never know. So hold your breath there, because that might happen just probably once. We'll see. But there's many episodes to come, so we shall see how it progresses through the series. But that's my Neo Geo AES, which I'm very happy to own. I've always loved it. And it's not only that, I did progress then onto the Neo Geo CD, and that was bought, wow, it's got to be about 90, about 98, 99. And it was a computer shop, a lot really old. It's like a small independent computer shop. I used to go in there literally every single day. I used to get off the bus, cross over the road, straight in there. I used to stay there for a good 2 hours every day. I was best mates with the guy who run the place. Used to buy all my Super Nintendo games from him. And then one day I walked in and he's playing this Neo Geo top loader CD, Neo Geo CD. And he had like that and 5 games in it. And I thought, man, that's amazing. I didn't realise Neo Geo had brought a CD player out. And he goes, it's yours if you want it, 170 quid. And I ripped his hand off. I absolutely ripped his hand off, and I absolutely loved it. And it's my first time playing possibly my greatest fighting series ever, and that is of course the King of Fighters, because I did get King of the Fighters 94 with it, and another 4 games. Top Puncher, I think, Aero Blasters, and I can't think of the other one. There's a couple more, but I absolutely loved it. But eventually that got a few issues, and I did sell it on, and I never thought about getting another one until I found out, of course, about the Neo Geo CDZ. Now, it's about 1.5 to 2 years now, and I picked one up loose, but when I picked it up, I had 5 games with it, and that's what made me think I'm going to show you 5 games every episode. Now, trying to get this deal where I got with the Neo Geo CD and the 5 games nowadays, it wouldn't happen, because the one game alone is probably worth as much as what I paid for the entire system and the 5 games. So, firstly, of course, Neo Geo CD. This is a beautiful condition. Absolutely magnificent console. Much better than, of course, the original Neo Geo CD top loader, because that was a very slow loading system. That's what really made the system fail. But this, of course, is slightly faster in load times, which is a godsend, to be fair. And this system has only gone up in price since, of course. Now, I do want to box one of these. Eventually, I will be getting one through the season. You never know, I might pick one up. Maybe end of the year, maybe next year, we'll see. But this one has done me proud. Absolutely beautiful system. Love this system, as well as my AES. But yeah, I thought, get one of these, and I had 5 games with it. So, let's have a look at the first 5 games I actually got with this system. Now, as I say, one of these games is now worth as much as I paid for the whole lot. Now, for the 5 games and for the Neo Geo CDZ, I paid $350, which is a damn good deal, to be fair. because nowadays you probably wouldn't pick a system up for under 400 easy, probably more than that. And if you wanted a box, you're talking 500 to 600. So I was very lucky to have got what I got when I did, which of course motivated me to want to start the full collection. So let's have a look at the first 5 games. Now the first of the 5 games are, I mean, you know yourself, a majority of these are going to be fighting games anyway. Fighters, a few shooters, the odd platformer, but the majority of fighters, which is good for me because I'm a fighting game fanatic. Always have been, always will be. So I love the fighting game series, whatever it may be. Now, the first one is, of course, World Heroes 2 Jet. Now, this one is I think it was the 3rd in the series. I think it was was it 3rd in the series? Because there is World Heroes 2, World Heroes 2 Jet, and World Heroes Perfect. And I think this was actually like, I think it was a remake of the second. It was just an advanced version of number 2. And you got more characters in it and things like that, but absolutely fantastic. As you can see, I do have the spine card. Now, this is where I go into the collection. I was going for these full set, every single one a spine card. And for the time, it was great. It was working out really quite well. But over time, it got more difficult to try and find them with the spine card, and I thought the prices without the spine card are far cheaper. So you are going to see ones without spine cards, and majority probably with. If I can re-pick them up in the future with the spine card, then I'll go for it. But until then, I'm quite happy, regardless of what I get, as long as it's in great condition, with or without the spine card. So I'll let you know whether I've got the spine card. So of course this one's got the spine card. And as you'll see, I will be putting game footage of this game while I'm talking about it. But absolutely fantastic fighting game, one-on-one series. It's not the greatest fighting series. A lot of people don't really like this, but I really loved it. Same as my cousin, I think he ended up getting World Heroes on the Neo Geo himself eventually. But I love this series. 4 fantastic games. I originally played World Heroes Perfect on the Sega Saturn. But as I say, great range of characters. I've never done it again, to be fair. But good few historical characters in there. And as I say, overall, a great fighting series. But that was the first one I got with the 5. And that's obviously World Heroes 2 Jet. Now, the second one was an absolutely awesome fighting game, and there's obviously 2 of these, and this is the first one, and this is Last Blade. Now, Last Blade is an absolutely fantastic fighting game. Only 2 ever made of these, of course. First time I ever played these was actually on the Dreamcast, and there was a fantastic conversion on there, but obviously being a Neo Geo, this is absolutely awesome. As you can see, this one's got no spine card, so this comes with no spine card, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter. But absolutely beautiful condition, and as I say, an absolutely fantastic one-on-one fighting. It's more like a close combat sword fighting, of course, game. A bit like Samurai Showdown, but not quite. I think it's got its own distinctive style of gameplay, which I absolutely love. But there's the first of the 2 in the series, and an absolutely awesome game. That is Last Blade. Game number 3 is, of course, another series I absolutely love. And this was another game which was re-released to advance the second of the series. And this is, of course, Fatal Fury Special. This one's got the spine card. This is basically Fatal Fury 2, but an enhanced version. Because it obviously plays better. A few more characters, I think, there is in it. But always loved the Fatal Fury series. Definitely a close second to, of course, the King of the Fighters. And obviously has its relevance, of course, because King of the Fighters moulded from this. This is where the original King of the Fighters came from. But absolutely awesome game. Love this version. Slightly better than number 2, obviously, but plays absolutely fantastic. But very happy to have that, and that started me on the road. Of course, I've got to finish the full set of that. Finish the full set of course, Last Blade and of the World Hero set. So very happy to have that one. Sorry about the shine because these are in the cover still. But that is Fatal Fury Special. And then the fourth title I got with the set, which is of course an absolute classic in itself and probably the best in the series as far as I'm concerned. And that is of course Samurai Showdown 2. This one has a spine card. Absolutely fantastic one-on-one fighter. And there are 5 in the series. I think that they brought another couple out. Obviously, they moved on to the PS4. And that is an absolutely awesome version of Samurai Showdown. A fantastic version. But this, to me, for the Neo Geo, this is probably the best in the series for me. Some absolutely fantastic graphics. Fantastic fighters in it, and the last boss is not an easy task to beat, I tell you straight now. But absolutely beautiful, fantastic game. Very, without doubt, the best in the series for me. So that's another set I'll be going for to get the full set on the Neo Geo CD of the Samurai Showdown. And then last but not least is the game I was talking about now. This game now, 300 plus. And you won't pick it up. Now, the difference between this one, and this is why it costs a little bit more, is this one is the American version. These are Japanese, this one is the American. So this is where my collection now evolves. So I thought to myself now, if the spine card's with it, fair enough. If the spine card isn't, and it's a good price on getting it. And also, if it's an American copy, regardless if it's American or whether it's Japanese, I don't care as long as I've got that game. So that's the way it's going to be. As long as I can get a full set, whether it be American or Japanese, or if it's a Japanese exclusive, then I've got to get it Japanese, understandably. Vice versa with the American. I'm not too sure if either the Japanese or the American had exclusive games. I've got to find this out over time. But this definitely is, of course, a fantastic game. It's the daddy of side-scrolling shooters, of course, and it is Metal Slug. And this is the US version. Now, when I first bought this, it had no spine card. I had one opportunity. I've seen it on eBay once. Somebody was selling an American spine card for Metal Slug. Now, I wished that I bought it, but I wanted 30 quid for it. And what did I do? Nah, I ain't paying that kind of money for it. I wished I did, because if I'd have had the spine card for this, I'd have probably added 200 quid to it. That's how significant the spine card is to the Neo Geo. Even it was exactly the same with the Sega Saturn. You had the spine card, you added 150, 200 quid to it easy. So I regret that. One of many, of course. But as I say, to get this game in the set of 5 with the Neo Geo CDZ, as I say, this game can now fetch the prices up to 300 plus without the spine card. So in that game alone, I've made my money back. Simple as that. So absolutely fantastic game, an all-time classic game, and they only ever had 2 of Metal Slug games come out for the Neo Geo system, and that is Metal Slug 1 and Metal Slug 2. It's a shame they never brought X or they brought any more out. It would have been great for them to do the full series on the CD, but unfortunately they only did 2. So I'm going to be getting the second one, of course, in the collection. But there you go. So there are my first 5 games for the Neo Geo CD, and as I say, I'll be showing you 5 a month, and then slowly building up that full set. Now, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you how many there is. So what I'll do in the next episode is I'll give you a count, and I'll give you how many games there are actually available for the Neo Geo CD. But that'll be in the next episode. So anyway, there you go. There you have it. That's the first 5. And very, very happy to have that first 5, especially Metal Slug, when I picked up with the console, because as I say, that game alone can cost quite a bit on its own nowadays. But absolutely awesome. The collection begins. So let's move on to the second half of Man vs. Neo Geo. Okay, so this is going to be definitely my favourite part of the video each month, and this is going to be like a random show and tell of something that I've got concerning Neo Geo. It's going to be anything and everything to do with Neo Geo, whether it be vinyl, whether it be new games, whether it be a collection I want to start, a collection I've finished, whether it be something for the room. It all depends. But you're never going to know until each month when the new video comes up what it's going to be about. But this month, being the first episode, I thought I'd start quite big. And this is 2 fantastic items I've ordered for my room. And these are going to be nice display pieces. And these are from a company in Germany. And they are called arcadeartrepro.com. Now, these are, of course, 2 Neo Geo items. The first one was a banner, which caught my eye, which I was after for a while. But looking through his stall, he also had something else which looked amazing. And I thought, I have to have it in the room as a really nice showpiece. Now, this guy, he just doesn't do replica items. He also does arcade parts for marquees and things like that also. So he's got a lot on his store. I'll try and leave a link down below so you can go and check his stall out. His name's Barry. I was got to say, he might not be watching this video, but if he does, mate, I'm looking forward to opening his box and seeing what's inside, because if they're anything like the pictures that you sent, they're amazing. So what I've done, just to save a bit of time, I've cut the box at the top because I can then get easy access to the items without spending time cutting the box open. Right, so 2 amazing items I'm looking forward to having a look at. As I say, the first one is a banner and it's sitting right on the top. Now, these are replicas of items that you would find out in Japan, hanging outside a Neo Geo store or any gaming store that sells Neo Geo at the time. So the first one is the banner. So I pops the banner and let's have a look. Now, I'm looking at these. I'm looking at, you'll see my reaction. And the reaction for the banner is amazing. It's made of a beautiful material, so it's easily wiped over, it's easily kept clean, and it's like it's originally made to go outside a store anyway. And the banner I'm talking about is this one. Can you see that? How awesome is that? Still got the ring binds underneath, the SNK sign. Now, this is one of the original, and I'm sure he was a Neo Geo mascot back in the day. Someone with a bit more Neo Geo knowledge can tell me who that guy is. But this had to be had because, as you can see, there's a beautiful blank space there. So this is technically going to be going there. So each video now you'll see that there. So I specifically bought that for that section. But absolutely beautiful banner. Very well made. Really greatly printed. And as I say, it's basically an original shop sign for the Neo Geo, so well happy with that. That is absolutely fantastic. Items like that, that'll just make the room just pop as far as I'm concerned. That's what I wanted it for. But yeah, absolutely awesome. So there's the first item, and that is of course the Neo Geo banner, which is going to sit nice on that side of my cabinet. Right, I'll roll this up. So far so good. So far so good. Very, very happy. Right, I'll pop that down there. Now to the main event. Now, this is big. I didn't realise it was going to be this big, so I'm not going to literally pull it out in front of the camera because it will just ruin the surprise. I will try and turn it this side and then lift it out so then we can see what it is. So excuse me while I stand up. Okay, so first impressions, unbelievable. That is amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. It is big. I don't know where I'm going to stick it, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting challenge. But let me have a look. Everything's all good. Yeah, no breakages. All I got to do is I must test this out, of course, to see if it's working. But I suppose we'll want to see what I've got. So replicas of shop items, and this is a shop sign for the Neo Geo. And it is this big badass. Look at that. How good is that? This is a double-sided, original, well, I say original looking replica of a Neo Geo store sign. As you can see on the back, you've got the clasps where you can hang it on the wall if you wanted to. This is very light, so I could easily pop these on the wall if I wanted to, but I don't think the wall's going to let me somehow. But I'll find a place for this, I'm assuming. But absolutely beautifully made, very light. So it's got all plastic all around it, so that's got to come off. Very well protected, it was well packed. And yes, again, Barry, if you're watching, absolutely awesome, my friend. This is just a beautiful centerpiece. This is for my room. This is going to look so good when I find the area I want to put it. But yeah, as I say, this has got a Euro plug on, unfortunately, so I'm going to get an adapter for that. I might not have one, so I might have to probably show you this working in the next video. But it doesn't matter, as long as I have it. And it's, I think I've got like a Euro connection in the bathroom, so I might plug it in there. If it works, then I'll let you know, and I'll have the connection and the proper plug for next episode of Man vs Neo Geo. But look at that, how amazing does that look? That is beautiful. But yeah, I've got the challenge now of trying to find somewhere where to put it, but wherever it's gonna go, it's gonna look amazing. But yeah, there are the first two items, and as I say, I'm going all in Neo Geo this year. This is going to be a continuing video and a series through the year. As I say, I've got plenty of Neo Geo CD games. I'm going to show you 5 per month, and then the second half of this video, as I'm doing now, will be just random. It'll be anything and everything that interest me, that I've recently bought, that I've fully collected, new challenges I want to go for the Neo Geo, anything and everything. So you never know what you're going to get in the second half of each video each month of Man vs Neo Geo. So there you go, guys, 2 absolutely awesome pickups, which is of course the banner. That is amazing. I love that banner. That's going to look absolutely awesome there. So you'll see that next, well, you'll see that from every video that I've got now in future. And of course, the unbelievable Neo Geo shop sign. That's going to look amazing when it finds its pride of place. But yeah, this year is going to be good. I'm going to be really concentrating on my Neo Geo, getting that collection finished for the Neo Geo CD, and enjoying a system. I'm a Super Nintendo fan through and through, but this system has always been a very close second to my heart, the Neo Geo. And back in the day, obviously, I've just never been able to afford it. Like most of us, this is a system that it takes dedication, and the way I'm doing it now is a lot of saving and a lot of just biding my time, which I've had to do over the years anyway with the Neo Geo collection. But I'm going to focus a little bit more on it this year and try and get some really fantastic games. Games I've never thought I'd get out of. I'm not talking Metal Slugs. Let's just cross that out. Metal Slugs are not going to be entering into the Neo Geo AES collection. That is just a no-go, unfortunately. There are going to be styles of games like that, but not, unfortunately, because they are just way above my pay grade, unfortunately. So you're going to see a lot of fighting games, because I do love my Neo Geo fighting games. Of course, the Neo Geo anyway was synonymous for fighting games, and there's a good few shooters on there as well. So we'll see what we pick up through the year. I've got ideas. I definitely got plans on what games I really want for the collection, and a couple of sets I want to finish off for the Neo Geo. But I've got the time. No rush. And that's the whole point for a thing like this, the Neo Geo. You cannot rush, because they are not cheap, unfortunately. So I'll look forward to it even more when I'm able to pick up these items as I get them, because I'll appreciate them a hell of a lot more because of what I've had to go through to get that money, to get them items. So there you go, guys. 2 fantastic items added to the collection, 2 fantastic pieces that are going to look amazing in this room. And the first 5 Neo Geo CD games. to the full set, another 5 next month, and some more random Neo Geo goodness in the next episode, which will be next month. So I'll leave it here, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As I say, if you're new, welcome. If you're old school, I'm glad you're back. I hope you enjoyed the video. I am CyberSnake7, and as always, keep playing, and remember, always keep watching. All the best.
小さん、え、稽古ですか？